Well, the alcohol industry is calling on South Africans to work together in stopping the spread of COVID-19. The industry says livelihoods are at stake and the country can't afford to go back into a hard lockdown. President Cyril Ramaphosa will address the nation at 8 o'clock tonight, and many are wondering if that will be on the agenda. For more on the story, our reporter Masego Rahlaga following this one for us. So Masego, of course, you're out and about in Johannesburg. Where are you and what are people saying ahead of this address?
Well, Shahan, I opted to come to Parkhurst. There's a busy road with a lot of restaurants here in Parkhurst. Usually you'd find it very busy even during normal weekends. So I chose this place because during the festive season, there's more people coming here, even tourists. But of course, that question from South Africans about the president speaking tonight, they are wondering if we're going to be spending the festive season under lockdown. So this is the road I'm talking about in Parkhurst. A lot of restaurants, a lot of places where you can have ice cream, for instance, or even just sit and have your food. And of course, Shahan, be able to have some alcohol with your friends and family. But I'm going to walk into this specific restaurant to speak to the owner about what he's hoping the president perhaps doesn't say tonight. As you can see, the restaurant is adhering to regulations. They have, for instance, the hand sanitizers as you walk in. They have the thermometer that is supposed to be used to check exactly what your temperature is, rather. And they also are a restaurant that sells a lot of alcohol. As you can see, this is where you'd ordinarily come to have some fun with your friends. Now, Saverio, thank you very much for agreeing to speaking to us. You're live on eNCA. The president is speaking tonight at 8 o'clock. And one of the things that has been blamed on the second wave, it's blamed on super spreader events, as they've called them. So establishments like the one you have are probably going to be targeted by the president tonight. How do you feel? Are you anxious about 8 o'clock?
So I think we just got to wait and see what was going to be said. It's pointless being anxious and start getting worked up. Yes, it is playing on our minds because there's a lot of factors that that's going to happen, and a lot of lives at stake. But we'll wait and see see what the president does say. Hopefully, he puts restrictions in where we can abide by them. I think that's the most important thing. If we can actually play a role in just curbing it and going on with our lives. That's it.
And your message to your patrons who come here to visit you, of course, this is not something that can only be done by government. It also depends on our behavior.
100%. Listen, we've been going for a hell of a long time, and this COVID has affected everyone. We've got patrons that have been coming through the lockdown, post and before, and they're complying. There's a lot of them that comply, and my staff that are here, they've been amazing. There's a few that haven't complied, and unfortunately they have left our restaurants because they wouldn't or they didn't want us to take their temperatures, or they didn't want to fill in the queue readers that we do have on the tables because we don't have menus, where we've asked them to use their smartphones in order to read the menus, and they feel that they'd rather have a menu, so they do leave. But the people that do stay, or the people our clients that have used us, have been amazing, and they've used and then complied with COVID.
Thank you very much, Shahan. That is Saverio Cordillo. He is the owner of Boteka Cafe here in Parkhurst.
Second, let's talk about the alcohol and tourism industry a bit more, because they held a briefing earlier trying to say that they're putting in their own measures in place to make sure that regulations are followed.
Well, Shahan, the alcohol and tourism industry in that press briefing basically begging South Africans to please adhere to the protocols and regulations set up by the government during this time. They are saying that, for instance, Shahan, they've been able to contribute to the fight against COVID-19 with, for instance, giving government gallons of sanitizers to be able to distribute to schools as well as hospitals. They say that they've been able to contribute to PPE for frontline workers by handing over PPE to nurses and doctors working at hospitals. So now, Shahan, they are saying that they are actually contributing, they're paying, or they have employed about 500 patrollers to help police during this time, not only to make sure that people are traveling, are getting back home safe, but also to make sure that people are adhering to the rules. So it will not only be police across the country who will be trying to make sure that people stick to the regulations, but these patrollers employed by, for instance, your Heineken and your SAB are expected to also make sure that people are wearing masks, for instance, at different establishments. But here is Millicent Marocha from Heineken speaking earlier today at that press briefing.
Also, as we are now getting into the festive season, we are also working on ensuring that we have patrollers on the ground in different parts of the country, especially in hotspot areas, to make sure that taverns close on time. There's better compliance by tavern owners, compliance to the COVID-19 protocols, as well as the trading regulations in the various provinces, but also to make sure that women who are in those outlets and need to get home safely, the patrollers will ensure that they get home safely. And this is all part and parcel of ensuring that we really balance the narrative around alcohol, social responsibility, but at the same time also safeguarding the role of the liquor industry in contributing to the growth of our economy.
All right, we're going to have to leave it right there. Masego Rahlaga.